want to thank you for joining us today here at 𝗕𝗂𝗶𝗁𝗂𝗃. We want to thank you for joining us today here at... Oh, shut up. I'm going to get it. We want to thank you here for joining us today here. So, moving on to our other... to our next... what the hell is this shit again? Moving on to our next... what? As well as be entered to... as well as... so that we... Do you think I could do radio?
You had the face for it.
It's... Oh, God, I hate you.
What's new?
Because I need therapy.
Can you tell the difference in the quality of the video?
Unfortunately, yes, you can see your face clear.
What are you doing?
I am standing because I am getting swamp ass.
Dude, the one cheek sneak doesn't work when everybody's staring at you. Did you not notice I increased the size significantly?
No,
oh my goodness.
I'm also dyslexic, Gert.
What?
The system is down. If you have any feedback, other tips and tricks, or topics you'd like to discuss, please send them to us.
No, I have to get your address.
The wonders of the multiverse continues to grow. The new Unearthed Arcana is here, and stick around as we delve into it to discuss the new race option, fate domain, cleric option, backgrounds, feats, and more. Hello and welcome, heroes, to the Crit Academy. I am your host, Justin.
I'm your co-host, Ian.
Shit, berries, we're live. I'm your co-host, Brandon.
We hope to inspire you all with creative content that you can bring with you on your next D&D adventure.
Yay! Save that for the blooper reel.
Yeah, right? All right, so obviously, as of July 2022, the newest Unearthed Arcana delves more into the multiverse content. So we're really excited for that because that means they're really pushing this multiverse thing, because we already got books and stuff coming out, and then now a new Unearthed Arcana comes out with more details. I think that's great.
Yep.
So it is worth noting that all Unearthed Arcana is playtest material, and I do want to take a moment that if you're one of those few people that hates the stuff Wizards of the Coast does, you can read these and then go leave them feedback, and you might actually have a positive impact as opposed to ranting on Facebook, Twitter, or TikTok about how terrible they are.
Just be sure to explain why you think it's terrible. Just don't say it sucks.
Yeah,
That's not good feedback.
yeah, that's useless.
Yeah.
Utterly useless. So, how about we talk about some of the details in this Unearthed Arcana? There is a link in the show notes or in the description to get to this, and you can follow along if you'd like, or you can just listen to us babble on. First, I like to talk about the new race, the glichling. These are mechanical servants, very much like Modrons, right?
Yep.
They're law-seeking, and their goal is to experience the multiverse and all that it has to offer.
Like Modrons, but with autonomy. It's kind of nice.
Yep.
Less hive mind. Yep, and we also got the cleric subclass, the fate domain, which allows the clerics to influence the fortunes ebb and flow.
I love this, and I cannot wait to talk about it.
I think some parts were awesome, some parts were OP, but hey.
Well, that's why we're covering it, so we can tell them what we think.
And that's why it's playtest material.
Yes, absolutely.
And of course, more backgrounds. They got the Gate Warden, the Giant Foundling, Planner Philosopher, and the Rune Carver.
I love that name.
It does
The backgrounds provide access to specific feats. Yeah.
Yes. We're going to talk about how I hate that, and I think it's dumb, and I don't think that they should be using that at all, and shame on you. Chris, Jeremy, if you're listening, no. Stop. Go back.
Well, given the fact that you release a Gambler and have similar material in here, that's not quite out the question.
Right? All right. And he follows. I know Chris for sure. Perkins follows us on Twitter.
Nice.
And I wouldn't be surprised if I get an unfollow in the next 24 hours. So we're also going to talk about feats, which are a collection of player options that give you ways to expand, specifically, primordial magics and things that deal with the planes. And of course, there's a few spells. We're not going to go into great detail on the spells because they're always making new spells, and that's, those are changing so much, there's no point. But we are going to touch on a few that were very interesting, as Ian just informed us. So The first thing we're going to talk about is the glitchling. Once again, as we mentioned, it is very akin to the Modrons. I'm going to be honest, I love this idea because I totally want to play a glitchling that takes on the form of a pentadrone, right?
Yeah.
I imagine you can flavor how they look however you want. And if you don't know what a pentadrone is, it looks like kind of like a walking pinwheel.
Or a starfish.
Or a starfish. I like your analogy better. Thank you for that. And I just want to walk around spinning like Tasmanian devil and just flap, 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 flap everything as a monk.
So like 𝗏𝗏?
Yeah. With legs and its mechanical construct.
Andrew, is it just me, or do they purposely make UA material OP to get people to play them?
That actually makes sense.
There might be some truth to that.
Ian, do you want to tell us a little bit more about the glitching and some of the first mechanics we can talk about?
Yep, first and foremost, it is a construct,
Yes.
which is always fun to do. Like, Warforged are a good example of this, and they have a few core traits as follows. They get armor plating. And when you aren't wearing armor, your base armor class is 14 plus your dex score.
Every rogue, every monk, every barbarian
A robot monk.
are going to love that.
Yeah.
Because that you take either that calculation or their armor one, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes,
Actually, at low levels, you'll probably beat that.
yeah, I think this you mean, or the
The armor plan is going to beat the unarmored.
yeah, that's kind of where I was going with that. At early levels, that's going to give you a higher AC compared to some of the unarmored defenses, I think.
That might even give you a higher AC than the turtle in some cases.
Yeah, 14 plus dex.
Yeah.
Total's base is 17, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Plus
you'll-
4 if we're going inside the shell.
I mean, if you're going standard stat block, that's going to match it at least.
And that's something you can do, point by or roll.
Right. The other thing, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 mates D&D. I love Pokemon. I think we did an episode on Pokemon at one point.
We did.
Honestly, to me, it is worth noting that I think this is a little bit overpowered. The fact that a racial
little?
trait can put it so far behind or in front of things like unarmored defense right out the gate is kind of a risk. And
Like, isn't mage armor like your 13 plus your dex score? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that costs a spell slot to do.
Yeah.
And looking at this as the go-to for monks and rogues, I can totally see that. Getting a AC of 19 with little effort totally negates the need for armor for those classes if you pick this race. Do you guys think that that's a little?
I like the idea, but as we were firmly establishing, we might need to tweak the numbers a little bit.
Yeah, I'd say, in my opinion, it shouldn't be any higher of a calculation than, say, the mid-tier of the armor that's available to them. So there you can upgrade if you get to a certain point in armor, but don't necessarily need it at that point. What do you think, B?
How do you find that so fast?
Google! That's how.
Yeah, OP.
You think so? What would you change?
Oh, jeez. Maybe half your dex mod?
Maybe. I could see that.
Or maybe drop to 14, but maybe tie it into a second stat of some kind, your choice.
So it'd be 10 plus 2 stats, kind of like on armored defense?
Right, like, maybe if they give you like a sub-race option, you can choose which one.
Yeah, honestly, I think that they should just give it unarmored defense.
Right.
Plain and simple, which is what you're getting at.
Right.
So it doesn't even need its own name.
What I like to see is because it's armor plating. It's metal skin. I think that the AC should be based on your strength modifier instead of your dex.
Yep.
Ooh. I like that.
Yeah, it makes more sense if it's your skin.
Yeah, it does seem kind of like power creep, and that is fair. And let's be real here, power creep's always kind of a problem with RPGs in general as they release more material.
Yeah, and that's a shame because it doesn't need to be.
And I mean, like the two most powerful sorcerer subclasses were both introduced in Tasha's, just simply because somebody have more spells available than any other sorcerer subclass. Period.
Yeah, we touch on that in the new thing coming. Never mind. Move on.
Yes.
Brandon, do you want to tell us about one of the other mechanics?
Oh God. Okay. Balance chaos. Is that really a thing?
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of like contradictory.
Yeah.
Well, they're beings of order, so
yeah.
we
Let's
didn't
talk about. Go ahead.
Sorry. When you make an attack roll or a saving throw and roll a 9 or lower on the d20, you can you hear me? You hear me right? Okay, cool. You pointed at me. It's like, uh-oh. You can balance chaos and treat the roll as a 10. What?
Like the rogues.
You can balance chaos in this
Yes.
way a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest.
So,
Well,
let's talk about how Wizards of the Coast is giving 11th level class features to a race.
what?
Yeah.
That's the reliant talent, reliable talent
Yeah.
that the rogue has as that 11th level. I hate that. You should not.
So the rogue's not special no more.
Well, even if it was, it should be 11th level feature that you get. Maybe you say at 11th level you learn to balance gets a programming upgrade or something. I don't know.
Now, it is worth noting that you can only use this a limited amount of times, whereas with the class ability, you can use it
It's
as much
unlimited.
as you want.
But still, you get that 10 levels before the rogue does.
Yep. I'm just saying, to be fair.
That's not fair. I would say if you're going to do this, it should be once per long rest. What do you think?
I don't think that's unreasonable.
Well, yeah. How often can the rogue do it at 11th level?
As much as they want.
As much as they want?
Yeah. So, but keep in mind though, at low levels, this would be twice. So you hear like what, level 5?
Level 5, then you get 3. But still,
Yeah.
Those are game changing rolls, right?
Oh, certainly they can.
So, and it does say that I think you can choose to, which means you don't always have to, right?
Right.
So what are they gonna go? I don't know. It bugs me,
Delcinia.
Or Dulcinea.
Well, then why have the rogue then?
right? Who needs that? Who needs reliable talent when your robot buddy can just program it into his? Dude, I'm good at this now.
No, now I don't dislike the feature, but it needs to be rebalanced.
Yes, I think that you're right. I want to be clear. It's not that I don't like the feature. I don't like that racial. It's a racial bonus.
But I do want to stress once again, though, it's a limited amount of use compared to all the freaking time.
Yeah, but
I'm just saying it's worth pointing out.
Yeah, but I don't know that does it enough. I don't know. I'm kind of about it. I think it's a great mechanic. I don't think it should be a racial trait.
And it is worth mentioning too that Wizards has been lately with races been moving more towards X amount of times per your proficiency score compared to short rest or anything else. So, but that seems to be more along the lines of like a racial bonuses, not necessarily class bonuses.
Yeah.
So
All
it's
right.
not out of line with what they've done so far.
Yeah. All right. I realize we've been talking 15 minutes. We haven't got through the race yet. What's the next mechanic they get?
God damn it! Yep, living construct. You were to create to benefit from spells that normally don't affect constructs, such as cure wounds and stuff like that. Healing magic is what it comes down to.
And honestly, that's a necessity, right?
That does make sense. I mean, I have seen some games too where you instead are affected by mending and repair spells, which, let's be real here, are less common than healing spells, but I can see why they would want that as a player option at the very
Yeah.
least.
And like I said, I do like this. I think it's necessary. I think that you should be able to become immortal with the mending cantrip.
Yep.
So that's just me. Brandon, what's the next mechanic they have?
You talking about the ordered mind?
Yep.
I like this.
Ordered mind. You have an advantage on wisdom, insight checks, and on saving throws made to avoid or end the charmed condition on yourself.
Now, that is in line with what some Fae already have, too, like elves. So.
And I really like this because I hate being duped, and that's one reason why I typically like to play like elves, because they're immune to it. This isn't immunity, but I still think it is. I think they made it weaker because they gave so many other abilities to this.
Yes.
So I think that's a fair mechanic to give. You guys have any points on that?
Nope, because we need to move on.
Let's talk about how they also can fly.
Yep, they have the air quotes with this one. But they have vestigial wings, which allow limited flight. And when you move, you can get a fly speed equal to your walk speed until the end of your current turn.
Yes.
And we stress that because if you're still aloft when it ends, there's something supporting you, you fall. So use carefully. And you can use this trait a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, which once again is in line with the whole proficiency bonus thing that Wizards seems to be going
I totally want to play a barbarian glitchling who just flies really high and comes down like a rocket and just crashes into people.
Yep.
We'll call him Meteor. That'd be his nickname.
The metal meteor.
Metal Meteor. Like I said, I really like this. I like that they balance the flight. It's not outright flight, which I think a bunch of the crybaby GMs will appreciate, I think.
And get. And I do think it's kind of a shame to a degree that it only stays that way. You don't gain more flight if you level up. Because
Yeah, right? You would think you would get better as you got.
It says your flight cuts out at the end of the round or end of your turn.
End of your turn, yes.
You fall.
Yep.
And then whatever the fall rate is, which is like 500 foot per round, I think, or something like that.
Something like that.
Ugh.
So basically, you go up and you fall down before the next.
It gives options, basically, what
Yeah.
comes. This is the way I like it.
Which I like it, of course.
Yep.
It's
All
just
right.
like Tails from Sonic.
And
In Sonic games,
His
where
little.
you can grab Sonic and you can fly for like 4 seconds and
And then boop, you're out.
then you fall.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So overall, the Glitchling, I think they're going to need to do a lot of work personally.
but I do think they're on a good track for it.
I do.
overall.
I like the idea of the race. I love the idea of playing a Modron, and I want to play a flying Staryu that just across. Like, what was the stupid monster that Godzilla fought in the turtle shell?
Oh, that never happened. Because Gamera's from a different franchise altogether.
That's
Oh.
never happened.
No.
Why do I remember Godzilla fighting a flinging turtle?
Because I remember the scene too. I don't think it was Godzilla though. That there was like a rip-off version of it.
Well, Gamera's an entirely different franchise, so.
Anyways, the idea of you just flying across just sounds awesome as a
People
monk.
want them to fight, but.
Yeah. So I think you could get away with doing that with a rogue too. Your sneak attack is just pulling off like Blanca from Street Fighter and tucking it into a ball and just flying across, or like Kano. Anyways, all right, let's get to the class. The Fate main cleric. Brandon, you want to tell us a little bit about that?
The Fate Domain Cleric. Clerics who draw power from the forces of fate sometimes receive visions directly from the deity and receive fleeting omens of the future.
Yeah.
They share impossible knowledge with their allies and prophesize their enemy's doom.
I'm totally down for this.
That sounds sexy as hell.
Yeah, it does.
You are going to die. Oh! Okay, sorry, I mean, it's great. No, I was talking to you.
Crap!
It was just a little garlic.
I like the idea of a diviner cleric. I really do. One of my favorite classes, and I think a lot of people really like the divine wizard,
Yeah.
divination wizard. So I'm glad that Wizards is making this happen. I've mentioned before that I like things combined with like manipulation that I can take away power from the dungeon master.
Yep.
I like that. So give me lucky, give me the lucky feat, and what's the halfling one? Luck?
Yeah.
Or is it lucky too? Anyways,
We know what it does.
anytime
Roll
you
once.
get to re-roll dice is always fun for me, and I like the idea that I now have somebody that not only can divine the future, they can tank, they can heal, they can convince people to give them shelter. Oh, and they just look awesome with their giant maces, like just beating people up.
Mace to the face.
Yes! And bless your soul. Grab him by the throat and drag him by the water. Come and get blessed, bitch.
Anyway, like other cleric domains, they get access to some new spells, which is always a good start, and just put stuff in the spell list. And some good stuff is Clairvoyance, Death Ward, because, well, you see it coming, and 𝗖𝗄𝗄𝗃, which, well, I mean, it's not a bad way to predict the future when you know what someone's going to do, because you told them to do it.
The power of tear compels you, bitch.
Yes. What's 𝗖𝗄𝗄𝗃?
Oh, perfect mind control.
Pretty much.
Oh.
It's brutal. The fact that a cleric, once again, high damage, high healing, high armor, now can manipulate the fate. And can manipulate people.
Yes, when you say high
It's like
healing,
all my stuff squished together in one wet dream. Like all of it. Super exciting. What do you think, B?
what the fuck? When you say high healing, what do you mean? Is that?
Well,
It's a cleric.
Yeah, it's a cleric. But I mean, life domain cleric is what 3d8 plus whatever for third level.
That makes it a higher healing cleric. Doesn't make it not this cleric not high healing.
Sounds
They
fun.
have access to the same spells. It just doesn't have some of the other little extra. It doesn't need the extra. It can predict the future.
Yep.
It can avoid the damage altogether. And if it happens to be wrong, it can be like, oop, undo.
Dude, you could totally like flavor this your character to be like blind, and they're a blind prophet.
Saw it coming.
That's all I know.
No, how about this? Instead of your spells healing stuff, it rewinds time around that wound as flavor.
Like watching,
You have a little
watching Strain
pocket watch.
bring the apple back.
Yeah, just like a pocket watch or something, or like
so
the thing you said Doctor Strange did.
Yeah.
Oh man, that sounds awesome. I love that.
Yep.
Let's get
You know
more
what's
into
really funny?
this.
Just bones.
So we're going to talk about Omen's Importance that you also get as the first level spell. Brandon, do you want to expand upon that for us?
Rezo, the Red Priest. You can perceive signs of the future in everyday objects and events, such as flights of birds or ripples made in water by a thrown stone. You can cast the augury spell without expending a spell slot. And when you cast the spell in this way, the spell has no verbal, semantic, or material components.
Yes!
Once you cast the spell in this way, you cannot do so again until you finish a long rest.
Now, in addition,
What the fuck?
until you finish a long rest, when you cast a divination spell that includes a chance the DM gives you no answer or random reading, such as augury, commune, or divination, reduce that chance by 25%, so you actually make it more effective.
Yes, because failure is not an option when you can read the future. See what I did there?
Yeah. When you do divination spells, the DM has to roll a percentile
So the
die.
augury spells specifically, they roll a dice and they determine like weal or woe.
Yep.
I think so. Basically, says something good's gonna happen to you or something bad's gonna happen to you, which is cool. I've always took that as it's my job as the DM to make sure something good happens.
Yep.
Like Billy goes to fall in a pit of spikes and happens to fall like in such a way that all the spikes like just barely go around him and he's in this odd shape. You're like, woohoo! Man, that's good. Glad I told you about your future ahead of time, eh?
Yep.
So that's really fun, and I think those are the things that I personally can really appreciate. But I do worry at like specifically with augury because it's so much DM fiat.
Yeah.
And that brings me a bit of concern personally. But as so long as the DM uses it the way it's meant to be, I think it's awesome.
Yeah, definitely have played with some DMs here and there. It's like, I'm not sure I want them to do this.
Yeah, and so I can see that being an issue for some tables personally.
Yep.
What?
Fiat.
Not the cars.
Oh, I was going to say, because it means fix it again, Tony.
I like that. All right, so overall, I think that that's pretty straightforward. I do, as I mentioned before, I do have a bit of the concern of the DM fiat, but if they run it as is, I think it's a great mechanic.
Yep. And another feature they get is ties that bind.
This is all at level 1, by the way.
Yeah.
What?
You can temporarily tie your fate to others. As an action, you can touch one object or creature and magically tie a strand of fate from yourself to them for an hour, or until you use this feature again. An unwilling creature must succeed on a wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC to resist the effect. While the target is bound to you, and on the same plane of existence,
what the hell?
you can sense the direction to the target's location and know the direction of its movement if it's in motion.
I want to do this, but I want to play a Doomsayer, and that strand of fate is a noose. Here, let me help you.
That's pretty jacked up.
I love it. Anyway,
In addition,
Isn't that
Words.
Doesn't
we're a podcast. Words.
Yeah, but words. I fucking derailed. That happens. Hunter's Mark. Can't you deal with Hunter's Mark?
wait, but there's more.
Kind of.
There's more.
Yeah.
Yep. To a degree, yes.
In addition, once per round or per turn, when you cast a spell using a spell slot to deal damage or restore hit points to the target, roll a d6, and the target receives extra damage or healing, respectively, equal to the number rolled.
Now say what you just said again.
Never mind.
No, say it again.
I'm not gonna say it again.
Say it again.
No, fuck you.
Go ahead.
Isn't that Hunter's Mark? No.
Yes. That's Hunter's Mark.
With a healing option.
So it's better than Hunter's Mark.
Oh yeah, roll d6.
And it makes it easier to split the party.
That's Diviner's Mark. That's what I'm calling it. Diviner's Mark.
Might as well.
All right, so you can use this action a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, so there is a limit.
Yep.
But if you're a ranger using spell slots, you got a limit. It's probably just as bad.
Yep.
I'm one of the few that thinks Hunter's Mark should not be a spell, but should be a class trait.
They kind of did that to a degree in Tasha's.
Oh, did they fix it?
Well, they gave them a similar feature that's like Hunter's Mark.
For one of their...
as an optional feature.
Oh, it's an alternate. That's their alternative build stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now I do think this is a fantastic feature. Like I said, I love the idea of tying a thread of fate to an enemy or ally. The idea of a noose, me helping you with a noose around your neck and then like tugging you along, I think is great. And you can have, as a role player, you can have. I can see so much being used with this that ties into the flavor of the character.
Well, if Thomas says, "See the banker getting killed? Borrow a ton of gold, no, you won't have to pay it back."
It's Judge Dredd. That's a really good one.
I'd like to take out a loan.
On your soul. All right, let's get into insightful striking here, which I think is
striking.
Insightful striking.
6th level Fate Domain feature.
Yep.
As a bonus action, you can choose one creature you can see within 30 feet of yourself. Your magic grants you a brief vision of the target's defenses. Until the end of your next turn, you gain one of the following effects of your choice.
Yep. The next time that you make an attack roll against a target, roll a d6 and add the number rolled to the total. Yes.
And another feature too is the next time the target must make a saving throw against a spell you cast, the target must roll a d6 and subtract that from the saving throw.
That sounds really familiar. Does that sound like bardic inspiration to anybody else?
Or
Sounds like a better version of True Strike.
or Blessing Bane.
Ah.
What?
My man. So, also, this is another thing you can use a number of times equal to your proficiency modifier. Now, let's talk about how this is what True Strike cantrip should have been.
It says it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
This will really make this class an absolute blast to play, I think. But once again, tackling the RP in a fun and interesting way. I love the idea of seeing short little after images of peering around all the characters and the actions they might take, a la Mistborn, where you drink the atium and you see every possible scenario that could happen with that person until you take it, and then there's even more of them.
Yeah, because when both people can see the feature at the same time.
Yeah, you make changes.
It screws with everything.
Because everyone's making changes based on some decision somebody else makes.
Yep.
So to me, I very much love this as a role player and would have so much fun using it.
Yep.
What do you think, B?
I think my sorcerer would like it. So
It's a
I actually
cleric
used.
mechanic.
I know, but I actually used True Strike.
Time to multi-class.
Yep.
Apparently.
Well, I think sorcerers can get away with doing it because they can cast it as a bonus action.
But this is a class feature, not a spell.
Yes, I know. That's what I was saying. And that's what the cleric. It's a cleric feature. So
That's fair.
there's definitely some movement there. All right.
Yeah, there are ways to make True Strike actually useful. You just need to build for
Yeah,
it, though.
you have to build for it,
Now,
which the sorcerer can do the most easily, I think.
yeah. And a few more features. Level 8, you get Portent spell casting. You add your wisdom modifier to the damage you make with any cleric cantrip. I mean, more damage is always kind of awesome. And, you know my complaint with the clerics. Now they can get an actual attack cantrip. That'd be great.
Yes. How boring are we that the discussion in the chat is talking about how to spell Judge Dredd?
Yeah. And finally, at level 17, they get visions of the future. Your knowledge of the future allows you to guide an angel to achieve their greatest possible success. You can cast a foresight spell once without expending a spell slot. And when you cast the spell in this way, the spell's duration is 1 minute for that casting. And once the spell is cast in this way, you can't do so again until a long rest. And yeah.
Grant a character advantage on attack rolls,
For a minute.
ability checks, and saving throws. Pretty much an entire battle. Yes.
Visions of the future.
I would like to have that, please.
Yep.
When you move here,
I'll
he's
take two.
going to go over here. And when he comes over here, you're going to do this. Yeah.
Now it's making me think about how in Celesta, I've been having my mage cast greater invisibility on the rogue. Ooh.
Wait a second. It just occurred to me. I don't need to spend my only 9th level spell slot to cast it.
Yeah, you'd like that.
That is sexy. What a fateful end to this class mechanic, I think.
Yep.
A powerful buff is certainly shorter than normal, which I think is like, 10 minutes?
Good. It depends.
I don't remember. But you can retain a single 9th level spell slot, and I think that is an amazing trade-off. Kind of bringing the whole thing, Fate Domain, to full circle, right?
And it is a level 17 ability, which sadly most players won't even see.
Yeah.
But you might as well give them fun stuff at that high level. Now, overall, I think it's a good subdomain. I think it might need some tweaking because I think some stuff is a little bit on the powerful side, but
It's almost like it's playtest, right?
yeah.
But that's the point, and that's why
Yes.
Wizards of the Coast asked everyone. I was going to say us, but it's not really just us. It's us as the community. I want to take a second to answer Andrew's questions. Here's a question. Given the ability to hide in the arena, would True Strike find any good use in Clash of Classes? Yes, because it doesn't require the contested check that's usually tied with hiding, right?
Yep.
If you cast True Strike, you get the advantage. If you hide and they find you, you don't get the advantage. So I do think that there is a scenario where that can be beneficial, especially in a game like that. All right. So that does it for the Fate Domain Cleric. Let's talk a little bit about backgrounds and how I think they suck now.
Yay. Woo.
I'm still not a fan of the more mechanical built backgrounds. Now, I'm probably alone in here. I know everyone loves more toys to play with, but since Strixhaven came out and started giving background mechanical benefits, I really have not cared for it. Specifically, unique feats, right?
Now, I mean, it is worth noting that the amount of benefits you get in backgrounds in games, I kind of feel like, let's be real here, has not been very impactful overall. And I think they're trying to make the backgrounds more useful. And I can understand that mindset.
And I think that's more because that's a mechanic that relies on the DM, not the player to initiate it.
And a combination of a player reminding the DM.
Yeah, but that's why I think it falls apart sometimes and DMs forget about it, because really it's their responsibility to try to pay attention to that and include opportunities for those to trigger. For instance, if you're a folk hero, for instance, people are supposed to let you hide, but if the DM doesn't offer that as an opportunity and the player doesn't think about it because it's so rare,
or NPCs are supposed to know who you are.
Yeah. That's another one. Like, who are you? Like, you're supposed to know, dude. Don't you recognize my badge? Do you know what I did had to get this? No, they should be like, they should bow in your greatness and recognize you.
I'm not gonna check out the bandit by punching him in the dick.
Yeah, so there is a point that you're trying to make that if it is a power that the player has, they're more likely to use it.
Yep.
But I like the ambiguity that comes with what you can do with a background, because now that it's a mechanic, here's what it does and that's it.
Yep.
But when it's ambiguous, what does this make sense that this would fit here? Oh yes, it does. Let's use it. You know.
And I think part of the issue too is let's be real. A lot of people have not been happy with how the edition handled feats.
Yeah.
And I think this is them trying to, once again, approach it a little bit to at least give some options. I think at this point, though, you might as well just allow everybody to take a feat at level 1 and just be done with it. But
yes. And I think I've talked to our buddy Troy about that more than once. He's like, why don't you just give everyone a feat at 1 so they feel better?
And it gives you more variety, too. And I think given the limited opportunities you can have to take feats, just because you have so limited options of them, there's just many that you're just not going to pick. You might kind of want it, but it's like, I want this, but this is better. So why the heck would I take that one?
Yeah,
You know,
I
funny
agree with that.
I'm playing this game for what, like 6 or 7 years now?
Yeah.
Still
I haven't looked
stuff?
at a single feat in the 5e book.
Why not?
I never think about it.
Literally says it when you're leveling up your character. You can take
Yeah, you can take this or
stat
feats, and
versus
I'm just
feats.
like, I'm too lazy. I'm just going to bring my ability modifier.
I have done that.
I don't want to read through all those feats. I know there's quite a few.
I've done that for spellcasters specifically. I was like, I've got enough options. I'm good.
Yeah, and especially with martial characters, I'm like, yeah, I do want this feat, but the extra 5% to hit stuff does add up pretty fast.
Yeah, it does. Especially the bounded accuracy system makes that mechanic very important.
It's a double-edged sword for sure.
Yeah. So, how about we talk about
One of the
backgrounds. Obviously, for optimization purposes, it's going to depend on what you're going for, which is also the reason why I liked backgrounds, because it didn't matter what you were trying to do. It was strictly, I like this mechanic where it fits my backstory, not, I'm building this, so I gotta take this.
And let's also be real here too. Not all features you gain from backgrounds were made equal.
That's also true. They're all very situational in some capacity. All right, let's talk about the planner philosopher. Brandon?
Planner philosopher. You subscribe to a distinct philosophy that seeks to understand the nature of the planes or some hidden truth of the multiverse. You draw strength from your conviction and perhaps a network of like-minded believers. In your travels, you seek to deepen believers. Believers.
Play yourself a planar philosopher named Bieber. You can be all your fans are your believers.
God damn it. If you, in your travels, you seek to deepen the depths of your understanding and spread your philosophy. Almost sounds like a cult.
Yep.
Your skill proficiencies, you get to get proficient Arcana and Persuasion.
Yep.
Which I like
Guess
that.
what? That's good, and that's following in line
Yeah.
with what backgrounds do.
Languages, you get to do 2 of your choice, which is also usually how backgrounds go.
Yeah.
Equipment. A set of common clothes and a pouch containing 10 gold pieces comprised of coins from different worlds and planes.
That's cool.
That I can see being broken.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter what it is.
If you got 10 gold pieces and you come up to a collector who's like, this is from the astral plane, it's worth 10,000 gold pieces, I want to buy that from you.
But it says it's only 10 gold pieces.
Yes, but they're comprised of coins from different worlds.
Not compromised, comprised of.
Comprised. Did I say
You
compromised?
did.
Yes.
They're comprised of coins from different worlds and planes.
Of a value of 10 gold pieces.
No.
Well,
Yeah,
And
gold's
a pouch
gold.
containing 10 gold pieces comprised of coins from... wait.
It tells you the value right in the statement.
Whatever.
Anyway,
They could be like 1,000 pennies.
I'm saying 10 gold pieces that are from like different planes.
I can
So,
feel
like-
his frustration,
so,
but
like-
I'm having fun with this.
It's like this
So
one's
I'm
from the
gonna
astral
ignore it.
plane, this one's from the abyss or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
all right.
10 gold pieces.
Anyway, a feature they gain next is Conviction,
Are you sure?
which allows them to gain the Sign of the Order Planes feat, which is, well, in this document. And in addition, members of the organization provide you free, modest lodging and food at any of their holdings or homes of other faction members.
Yeah, right there. That's where it should stop.
Yep.
But it doesn't. The Sign of the Outer Planes feat grants access to resistances
Yep.
and cantrip. Not a fan at all. But whatever, I guess. Pushing the game to be more mechanical, as I've said, and I don't think that's necessary.
Some want it, some don't.
Yeah, and I don't at all. Not even close. I've always liked that choosing the sailor background and being something like a paladin didn't have a heavy influence on what I did. Like, for me, I would fit the flavor into my weapon. Now it's just like, I've got these new features. I got this cool cantrip because I took this, whatever. I'm obviously very salty about it. All right, let's talk about feats. Not the kind that come from your background, because those ones suck. There are some pretty interesting feats. Many of them really started to require very specific conditions in this one.
Yep.
I'm still kind of on the fence about that too. I like that you could pick any feat, but now they're starting to create like the old school planner philosopher. Oh my god, a flat earther. I love that. Let's do that. Like a guy that talks to deities, the planet's flat. Oh, that's fake news. I can fly to the sky.
You think the Queen of Spain is going to give her 3 best ships to some lunatic to sail off the edge of the earth?
Yes.
Anyways,
Actually,
you
they
can
didn't do what was around at that point, but hey.
you can check the feats out. They're pretty cool. I don't like that they have special requirements, but that's going with the background thing, right? So now you're kind of pigeonholing people, and I don't like that at all.
What?
Actually, they knew the...
You're forcing them to, okay, if I want to get this feat, I got to take this background. Because the background grants the feat.
What did you call that?
Pigeonholing.
Pigeonholing?
Yeah. You've never heard of that?
No, I've never heard of a pigeonhole.
Well, this is what happens when you don't read feats either. I guess you just can't keep up.
No fucking idea. What's a pigeonhole?
It's just you're forcing them into you're pushing them into that hole. That's
Who puts a pigeon in a hole?
That's a name for old mail slots in buildings, and you would just shove stuff in there and just keep them there, so it would not go to their intended recipient.
You'd be the guy that's got to come and scrape all the bird guts off. And they forget to slow down because they're getting old and losing their eyes.
My package had shit all over it.
All right, let's move on to the spells. We'll talk about them really quick. Inspire of many things. This section contains new spells. That the DM can add to the campaign. Obviously, they're going to be hit whether you like them or not, but there's a few that I would like to talk about. Specifically, the one that are for anybody that wants to play a cardcaster, a la Gambit, or was there any other famous cardcasters?
Cardcaster 𝗂𝗃?
She summons things, but that's one example. I think Yu-Gi-Oh!
gonna say Yu-Gi.
Go Yu-Gi-Oh! What's that even mean? Anyway, since we are nearing the publication of our Gambler class, which releases on August 12th, which I've talked about on the show, the new spells really tickle our dice, right? I'm looking at you, Chris and Jeremy. We release a Gambler, you make spells with magic cards. Yeah. So, now I'd be lying if I didn't say I was sad that these didn't come out a little sooner. So that I could pull some inspiration from them. But I do love that they came up with a defensive spell called the House of Cards.
Which actually basically makes a pyramid of cards.
Yes, and it's awesome. So, very cool. I really like these. There's even one that allows you to play like Yami Yugi, where you throw a card and summon a creature, a warrior spirit from it.
Who else
I think
does
you mix a
that?
couple of them together, but yeah.
Whatever.
You know
They
who-
get summoned. Who cares?
You know who else does that?
Who?
Ann and Alan from Sailor Moon. They
The
pull.
door's right there. Get out.
No, eat my ass. They pull cards and they summon monsters from them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Shake her head. She knows.
Who cares what she knows? She's not the one in these seats. These are the hot seats.
She's gonna turn off all that shit.
I know. All right, so I think these are really cool. I wish that it came out a little sooner. I do think that they are pretty well balanced as far as I could tell. But the idea of playing Yami Yugi is now on the board, and it only requires a second level spell slot, I think.
Now, the one that was kind of odd, though, was that allowed you to fire the cards basically as a cone.
52 card.
Well, give you two options. One would either give you a debuff or one that inflicted damage. The other thing, though, was the damage scaled up when you upcasted the spell, but the debuff one
the
did
debuff
not,
didn't.
which was weird, but hey.
Well, no, Bless doesn't scale up at level either. You can just target more stuff, so I guess that's not...
Well, yeah, but it targets more people. At least it doesn't when you upscale it. The debuff one does not.
The debuff
like
does nothing at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you say there was a defensive spell called House of
House
Cards?
of Cards, yeah,
Yep.
you make a big barrier of cards.
And it's supposed to protect you?
Yes.
It's magic cards.
What are you gonna
give it a good blowjob and it all comes down. Comes crashing down. All right. Overall, what did you guys think of this new Unearthed Arcana?
I thought I had a lot of interesting ideas, but like in the other Unearthed Arcana, it does need some tweaking here and there.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah,
and I think that's how it always is.
Yeah.
I'll probably submit the little questionnaire thing that they always have. It
Yeah.
takes me a few minutes. I can do it from my phone, so
Everything
when I'm
is-
supposed to be working.
Everything needs to be done to take care. I like the cleric.
Yeah.
The cleric's definitely a fun
Looks
one.
fun.
I think they need to redo the glitchlings racial traits to some capacity because
yeah.
the reliable talent feature, no.
Which you only use twice at low levels.
Yeah, but you could use 3 times by 5th level. That's a lot.
Compared to Infinite?
Yeah, there's a long distance between 11th level and 5th level.
There's
The
also,
fact that you still get the mechanic.
but there's a difference between using
You're
2 or 3
wrong.
times.
I'm right. That's it.
Use as
We're
much as you
moving on.
want.
That'll do it for our main topic today. Before we move on to our unearthed tips and tricks, I would like to let everyone know that we are going to be at GooseCon September 30th through October 2nd in Cincinnati, Ohio. Oh, goodness. We will be running games. We will be running panels. We are super excited. If you don't know what GooseCon is, it is the first convention put on by the One Shot Onslaught and Mongoose. What is the name of their network? I forgot the name.
Wow. You guys did a lore report with?
Yes. Majestic Goose Network.
And
Sorry that I forgot, Adam.
And because it's the first time they are doing it, that's probably why you never heard of it.
Yes, it is the first one. We're super excited for this. Hopefully he'll come and join us.
After I told a friend of mine about it, it's like, never even heard of it. Well, it's new con
Didn't they
for
do
podcasters.
Yeah.
Didn't they do a Kickstarter for it that like succeeded massively or something?
Well, they did a Kickstarter for it, and it succeeded.
Oh, okay.
Massive is kind of a general term, or a generous
I
term.
don't know. You want to see us live? Come to Cincinnati.
Come
and
kick out. Maybe
play
we'll
games with
play some games, have some drinks. I don't drink booze, so you'll have to bring me a Coke.
You remember what happened last time you did?
So, moving on. Huh?
The last time you drank can be found.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. The last time we
you
drank. Yeah. We were
Was
on
during
on Laurenbore, where we became in as experts of giants, but we're drinking. So we got a little weird.
A little?
Okay. a giant wiping their ass with peasants.
Peasants.
Yeah.
Like, you basically drink a whole bottle of wine.
Yeah, I think mine was done. Was I almost done before we started? I don't
I
remember.
remember you drank half of it before you
Yeah, I
started.
don't remember it at all. I had to go back and listen to it.
There's a
I remember the whole
major
thing.
difference between beer, liquor, and wine. Hidden amount
And
of
it tastes better.
alcohol in there. You drink a whole bottle, you're done.
I was.
Yeah, you were.
Remember at
And-
your
yeah,
one of your bachelor's parties, I had the 𝗿𝗲𝗀𝗂𝗃𝗲𝗄.
I mean,
You know-
Oh, it was.
You know what's fucked up about that statement? At one of your bachelor parties.
That was not my intention. I'm sorry.
At one of your bachelor parties, I did this. Yeah, on my third marriage. It's going good, by the way. So that's pretty cool.
You're on your third?
Fuck you.
I thought it was.
What the hell?
I don't know why. I'm so sorry. Third time's a charm, though.
I'm still amazed I actually remember my bachelor party.
Yeah. Did the video go weird for anyone else, or is it just me? No, it's just us. All right, let's move on to our Unearthed tips and tricks.
Yep.
And now, what you've all been waiting for. Our Unearthed Tips and Tricks segment, where we bring you new and reusable material for both players and DMs.
Funny. He's super gay.
All right.
and I love him. He's a great guy.
I remember when he said, sorry, we're back on top. Sorry.
We've been back live.
All right,
Think about
so
that.
our monster variant, surprise, is the Cardcaster. Origin, you're going to use the stat block of the Priest. It's going to lose its spell list, its mace, and we're going to swap wisdom and intelligence, and dex becomes 14. Yes, that's a boost. Nobody cares.
Come on, mon ami. Sorry.
Hey, no, that was really good. Clearly, the inspiration for this, of course, is going to be the Legendary Gambit, right?
Yep.
So we're going to give arcane cards, which basically allows them to use a bonus action to enhance their cards with magic, dealing extra 3d6 force damage to the target on a hit.
Yep.
We're also going to give it playing cards, which are melee or ranged weapon attacks. So it can attack melee strikes with them, making them hard.
Yep.
Or they can throw them 30 to 60 feet, which is nice. Of course, they don't do much damage, 1d4 plus 2, but that's why you have the bonus action to beef them up, right?
Down here in the bayou, ma chérie, 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃.
What? Down here, card cuts you.
Yep.
I love that. All right, we're also going to give him a quarterstaff that only deals, 1d6, 1d8, and no strength modifier, so not really, but hey, whatever. We're going to give it channel, which is a mechanic that we've reflavored the dragon's breath to a magical form. What?
Nothing, just the ability.
So the channel, the Cardcaster can use one of the following channeling features that recharges on a 5 or a 6. First, we're going to give it 52 card pickup. Guess what it does?
Yep. A burst of spectral cards in the Grand Flourish. And, well, each creature in the 30-foot cone must succeed on a whiz save or be blinded till the end of the next turn.
Pick them up!
That makes sense. I like that.
Like when they get flashed in your face. What's the other one there? Tell us about Royal Flush there, Brandon.
The Royal Flush. The Cardcaster throws a barrage of razor-sharp cards in a 30-foot cone.
Oh.
Goddamn. Each creature in the area must make a DC 12 dexterity saving throw, taking 22 or 5d8 slashing damage on a failed save or half as much on a successful one.
So if you have a gold toilet, is every flush a Royal Flush?
Oh, yes.
We're also going to give it a legendary action. It can take 2. It gets card manipulation, where it can re-roll one of its charges or re-roll its charge for its channel. And we're going to give it retreat, where it can the Cardcaster can use the disengage and move up to a 15 feet.
Like with the Royal Flush, it does 5d8 slashing.
Yep.
You need 5 cards for a Royal Flush.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's
the point.
That's a nice little addition there. I like
Yeah,
that.
it's actually weaker than what a monster would have for damage, but that's kind of what I was going for. You know what? I just want to say kudos to you, and I want to give you inspiration for catching that little tidbit. Knuckle bump.
Yay.
Knuckle bomb, right?
Knuckle bomb? I was going to fist you.
Please don't. All right. What do you guys think about this? Just kind of right off the cuff.
Oh my gosh, it sounds so cool. I love Gambit. He's my favorite X-Men.
Which, by the way, X-Men 97 is coming out.
Yep.
Which continues where the cartoon from the 90s
Left
ended.
off.
Sorry. All right. So overall, pretty straightforward. A fun little gambler to toss into your game. I called it Cardcaster because I didn't want to be confused with our gambler, which is coming out August 12th. Keep an eye out if you're looking for some fun card games. All right. Brandon, would you like to tell us about our encounter of the podcast?
Our encounter of the podcast is chest pains.
You're going to love this
This
one.
might be getting close to home because we're getting old.
Yeah, right.
During their travels, the characters stumble across a town of moderate size. Upon arrival, they learn from the local temple 24 of the townsfolk have fallen severely ill with torturous chest pains.
Yep.
Unfortunately, the pain is so great they are either unconscious or screaming in agony.
Yeah.
Ow. So are
Words.
unable. So are unable to. Like, so they're all sitting there screaming. You don't know why because they can't tell you why.
Right. Because they're in pain.
Ouch. No matter what the local priests do, they are unable to treat the disease. They've called for healers strong in the healing arts, but they don't think the victims will last more than a few days. No shit. A character who succeeds on a DC 18 medicine check notices that several of the victims have several large claw marks. These how would they not notice that in the first place? These marks look to be fully healed and appear to be old. Oh, okay.
That's why.
A character who succeeds on a DC 10 investigation check learns from the priests or townsfolk of a brutal attack by large monsters. Each gives a slightly different description and detail.
Yep, Thomas, you're not too far off.
What does it say?
I'm not going to ruin it.
Xenomorph.
A character that spends its time in the library, temple, or a similar location that succeeds on a DC 18 investigation check learns that the symptoms and some townsfolk descriptions describe a terrifying red slod.
Ouch.
Which basically is the D&D equivalent of a xenomorph.
Yep.
These creatures use humanoid hosts to carry their eggs to term over a period of 3 months. The characters have less than 24 hours to either cure everyone or ready for the evening like slods tadpoles to burst from their chests and begin attacking the townsfolk.
If you don't read monster mechanics in the book, there are some terrifying things in and even just in the regular monster manual.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real here. Some creatures, due to their lifestyles and how they reproduce, are just straight up evil humanoids, and slods are definitely one of them.
Yep. Thomas Kelly called it out immediately that it was xenomorphs. And yeah, you're right on. What do you guys think of this encounter?
It's a good one.
I think it's a good one. 'Cause I don't think the players are going to see it coming.
Well,
Because let's be real here, most players probably don't know what slods are, unfortunately.
yeah,
It's
because we
like,
don't
oh, you
use
got
it.
chest pains. Okay, we'll find it out. Maybe you inhaled like a fungus or something. Let's go find it.
Yeah.
And you see, look at things running around.
But that's also why it can't be cured, right? Because it's not like a disease or anything. It's
hey, I got some bad news.
You're gonna die. It's a lot of fun. I think it's cool because it ties into events that happened in the past.
Yeah.
And they have to go and talk to NPCs to learn that, and then be able to connect the dots. Because since it's been 3 months, the wounds have pretty much healed, right?
Yeah.
Which is why it goes unnoticed. So, all right, that'll do it for our encounter of the podcast, chest pains.
And next up is our magic item,
I want to see
the
necromorphs.
Ring of Crackling Bolts.
So I want to see necromorphs. Yeah, that sounds
The
good.
Ring of Crackling Bolts. It is a ring uncommon that requires attunement. This silver ring is engraved with a bolt of lightning and is set with a cluster of small sapphires.
Ooh.
While wearing it, you can use an action to cause a barrage of crackling darts to leap from the sapphires towards your foes. Each creature in a 10-foot cube originating from you must make a DC 14 dex save.
Oh, no.
A creature takes 3d8 lightning on a failed save or half as much on a successful one. Once you have used this feature, you can't use it again until next dawn. You know what? This one can be pretty fun at low levels.
Yep.
That'd be fun.
Not super powerful, but a little fun.
A little boom in your back pocket.
A 10-foot cube originating from you, and that's each creature, so that could be your allies too. I like the fact that you just turned yourself into a transformer.
Yep.
Not the kind that are in disguise, by the way.
Yep.
Roll out.
Is it like, yes, Andrew says it like the lightning spell from Diablo 2, very similar.
Grapple someone and say, hey, this is gonna hurt for a second, okay?
It's pretty straightforward. A nice little magic item, nothing too fancy.
Some of you may die, but that is a risk I'm willing to take.
All right, that'll do it for our magic item. And if you don't know, you can find all this stuff on our Patreon, on our blog. All of it's kind of, on our show notes, all that jazz.
Yep.
Our Dungeon Master tip, list of flaws. Now, keep a list of flaws that the players selected when they first created their characters. Not enough GMs do this. As a GM,
I don't think enough GMs keep those in their player enough in general.
well, that's true.
That's a good point. I don't know any of my players' flaws.
I try to keep mine updated, but every time I go to check, I'm like, these haven't been updated in a while. As a GM, you can use this as a powerful tool to remind the players of these faults when situations arise to test them. This is another thing for excellent GMing is putting them in a situation that their character is not supposed to be comfortable with.
Yep.
Not the player, the character.
Yeah.
Make sure there's a distinction there.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to annoy the players' characters with an NPC. It's one thing to annoy the players with an NPC.
Yes. A great example might be a character with the 𝗿𝗂𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 background might have the flaw. I'm quick to assume that someone is trying to cheat me.
Yep.
Every time they go to use that feature to stay at a house or something, let the player wrestle with this flaw during negotiations with merchants, nobles, other adventurers, or the people who are welcome in their home. For their feature, right? Their heroic the hero feature. This simple reminder will tug the roleplay strings out of the players and offer them kind of an opportunity to showcase that aspect of the character and that personality trait that doesn't get as much attention.
Or you can just simply see the player, you think this guy's trying to cheat you.
I like some ale. I'll be 2 silver. Bullshit.
I don't believe you.
Like what Andrew says, looks magic item. Fun magic item I've heard of. Ring of detect magic, but the ruby in the ring is always glowing because the ring itself is magic.
Worthless ass magic item.
There's something in here, but I can't find it.
That reminds me of the ring of attunement that somebody had. It's a ring of attunement that grants you an extra attunement slot, but it takes an attunement to attune to it.
What the fuck? Okay.
Overall, what do you guys think of this Dungeon Master tip?
I like that because I got 5 players, and I know that they all have flaws and fears.
Yep. And
I
that's
should be using
certainly
that against
something
them.
that you want to be able to include. And it doesn't have to come up every session. You could even alternate once in a while between them.
Yep.
Like
And
even,
change them up. Like if every session you target one flaw, it'll be weeks before you, well, unless you only got one person, then it'll be 1 week, but it'll be a while before it comes back and just include it in the gameplay. Thomas says, I'm playing a narcoleptic. Our DM has made us roll a dice for phobias or failings. He's a jerk.
If he does it too many times, yes. Or makes
yeah.
it, or penalizes you too hard for it.
There was I played the drunken monk, but it wasn't that he was drunk. He was narcoleptic. So he would run and then just fall mid-combat and just sit there prone. And somebody would get close as he was snoring, and then he'd jump up and kick him in the jaw. The most fun I had with a monk in a long time. All right, anything else?
Nope. Nah.
All right, let's move on to our player tip of the podcast. Don't be a dick. And you can avoid dickitude by listening to us.
The one I seek.
This one is the one I seek. You are the one I seek. So,
Aw, what the hell?
in fantasy games such as D&D, when designing characters, we spend so much time focused on immediate friends. Right? Is that true?
Sure.
Yeah.
Family, mentors, that may play an important part in their life.
Oh, yeah.
We often tend to make them entities of the past. In the past, I've experimented with the idea of creating an NPC that was tied to my character.
Oh.
This NPC turned out to be skilled in 2-weapon fighting. So this kind of fills that kind of niche, right? Since I had planned to pick up the feat dual-wielding 2 longswords, I decided the character, a fighter, would seek out this potential mentor in training that he was familiar with. So instead of putting the NPC just in my past and explaining how I'm getting better at it, I put them in my future as a goal. And the best part is I gave that NPC to the DM, and they went wild with it and included it where we stumbled across him, and I was level 3 at the time, and it fit into the story really, really well, to the point that the players around us had no idea that that was pre-planned. They thought, oh, you're going to do wheel now, because I was, using
Pole arm.
pole arm with them, something. I don't think it was a great sword, but whatever. Which they made fun of me because I was Dex built, but it's a thing. Never mind. Don't worry about it. The point is that it was a free-flowing character who became part of the story beyond just me using it to explain my taking a specific feat. Which, by the way, nobody should feel like they have to explain why they're taking any mechanics.
Yeah.
That's just something I chose to do. What do you guys think?
Oh, you can knock off 2 swords? Congratulations. You don't completely suck anymore.
I say this works so good for role playing aspects.
Yeah.
Now, one of the characters in my game, they met an NPC way in the beginning before they got flung into the future or whatever, what they're doing now. Well, that NPC had been using herbalism and alchemy to extend their life, trying to protect this city that they've been in, and they finally met up again. And he had found out that the past that happened of them dying and being flung into the future didn't actually happen. It's like we grew old together, we had kids, and we were married, and then this happened, and he found, was like, wait, we're married? It's like, yeah. And all his roleplay was going in really nice. And last session, this NPC was that close to death. Like she was
He's holding his fingers very close for you on the podcast.
Yeah, super, like, there's a hair there. World's smallest violin type thing. Yeah. And she had almost died, and I could see the grief in the player's face. Like, I don't know if I should do this.
That's a good example. I like that. What do you think, Ian?
I definitely think in some games it is a good way to kind of plan ahead, if you will, to explain why you're progressing. If a DM's like kind of game, which I'm with you, you shouldn't have to.
Right. You shouldn't ever feel like you have to do that, but that's something you can consider if you know your character's planned out that far ahead, because then it gives the DM a tool to work with and play with.
Yep. Don't tell your players no.
Wow.
To a point.
Yes. There's a happy medium there, right?
Yeah.
All right. That'll do it for our tip of the podcast. Don't be a dick. And you can avoid dickitude by offering the DM the one you seek. All right. If you enjoyed the show and want to support us, visit us at critacademy.com. Lots of good stuff there. Follow us on social media. Leave us a review. If you haven't been to our website, it's been completely redesigned. I'll give a huge shout out to Wayne Media. They did great work. As of this weekend, you can actually now search our blogs and everything. So if you want to go back and listen to one of those or read those, please check it out.
I still haven't tracked down which episode we had the hot sauce on.
I am your host, Justin.
I'm your co-host, Ian.
And I'm your co-host, Brandon. Thanks for listening.
Keep your blades sharp and spells prepared, heroes.